We do a Suzuki business here, and many years ago I had a customer who had a little Suzuki Mighty Boy. He converted to electric using rudimentary sort of bits that he made himself. He used to start a motor off a Sabre jet fighter, and that was what drove the thing along, and I was just fascinated. So my first car, which was the green one next door, we built that out of, basically we'd wreck out this car that was old and nobody wanted it, take the good bits and the rest would go to scrap. So that car would have normally gone to scrap. So we looked at it as thinking, well, we could do something with that, and we did some research and we found overseas suppliers that would make electric motors and so on, and so we got the first kit in of components and converted that car in 2008. And that was our first one, and Simone, who's here somewhere, she got the second car, and then a friend of mine who's not here today got the third car, and all three of those cars are still being driven. For a car cars that should have ended up in scrap metal, they turned out pretty good and they've been quite useful. We have solar here, we have solar at home, Simone has solar, Kevin has solar, so you know it's pretty much solar powered since 2008. People saw these things and we attended things like the Leaf Festival. You know, early days it was a bit scoffed at, but nowadays it's taken very seriously. So a lot of people are interested in electric vehicle conversions. We really do push the DIY, where we help people. We supply them the bits, we supply them custom-made components for their vehicle, and they go home and fit it and wire it up. And there's many cars on the road now that started out as kits from here, and we've helped the owners convert them over. What's happened over the years is, and I've got a great team of guys, I've got some university students who come and work here between classes because they're very enthusiastic about it. I've got my staff like Mitch and Chris over here, the regular mechanics, who are also very keen on the electric vehicle scene. And so what's happened here is, collectively, we've learnt a lot about electric vehicles from the kits. And we're actually doing a lot of repairs and maintenance on factory-built cars. One of the big things that we're involved in right now is we're exporting components overseas. We have a kit where we take the batteries out of the original Mitsubishi IMF from back in 2010. They're expired batteries. We put in new batteries with twice the capacity, therefore the car has twice the range. To make that work, we have some electronics that we have to add to the vehicle to convince the vehicle to do what we want it to do. And that's worked out quite successfully. We'll be rolling that out for other Nissans and BMWs and all sorts of vehicles over the next few years. So we actually have quite a good export market starting to happen. So these components are going to places in Europe, New Zealand, Canada and North America. So interestingly enough, here I am now, I'm an exporter, starting out from a hobby for giggles to now we're exporting these things overseas. I can see that this is about to explode. For example, that particular kit that we're exporting, we're the only people in the world that's been able to make that happen. There are a lot of people are trying, a lot of burnt cars, you know, from backyard experiments, you know, but yeah, so to do it successfully has been very difficult. And again, I've got a great team that I'm not the expert. I'm just the driving force. I'm the ideas. I do put my hands on, I do work on these vehicles with the boys, but really it's a training ground, because we've got a tsunami of electric vehicles coming our way. Overseas, it's huge. We've always referred to ourselves as the hot rod shop of the future. By enhancing the performance of the vehicle doesn't necessarily mean go faster, spin the wheels, but it means go further, perform better, or have add functionality to the cars that wasn't there in the first place. So that's how we're looking at the performance end of the electric vehicle spectrum. We do get a lot of inquiries from around Australia when people have a problem car that they can't fix. We've actually got some technology here that we made in-house that we ship out to them. They use that to diagnose and fix the problems. We're having to invent all this stuff because it doesn't exist. You know, so it's either us or other people that are in the same space as us that invent the tools. And our guys are constantly developing new components, new tools to make things easier, because they just don't exist.